Today, I will be discussing the review of the psychological basis of special and inclusive education. Next, please. So these are the subtopics. First is Piaget cognitive development, Albert Bandura's social learnings theory, and Lev Vygotsky's scaffolding, and Jean Leib's situated learning. Next, please. Okay, these are the objectives. At the end of our discussion, we will be able to know the psychological basis of special and inclusive education. And next, we will be identify the theories, the psychological basis of special and inclusive education, and its initiator. Lastly, we will be relate the psychological basis in teaching special and inclusive education. Next, please. So, psychological basis of education. Education psychology has developed to study scientifically the behavior of the students and help the process of education. It is particular field applied psychology. It tries to study the educational behavior of the child and applies the knowledge, psychology, and education. According to Jude, educational psychology is a science which describes and explains the change that take place in the individuals as they pass through various stages of development from birth to maturity. Okay, these slides tells that psychology has greatly influenced for the development of modern education. And education theory practice the condition by the nature of human behavior. What teachers do, how students learn, and how teacher can help students to learn, and its main influence of psychology and education. And this slide tells that it also focuses on development rather than learnings. Next, please. Okay, starting up with the first psychological basis, which is Piaget cognitive development. But first, let us know who is John Piaget. John William Fritz Piaget was a Swiss psychologist and genetic epistemologist. He is most famously known for his theory of cognitive development that look at how children develop intellectually throughout the course of childhood. It suggests that, next slide please. Piaget cognitive development, it suggests that children move through four different stages of mental development. And also, this cognitive development focuses not only on understanding, but on how children acquire knowledge. Next. So these are the Piaget cognitive development. These are sensory motor stage, birth to 2 years old. Pre-operational stage, age 2 to 7 years old. Concrete operational stage, age 7 to 11. Formal operational stage, age 12 and up. Next, please. So these are the factors that influence how children learn and grow. Schemas. Schemas describe both a mental and physical action involved in understanding and knowing. Schemas are categories of knowledge that help us to interpret and understand the world. Second is accommodation. It involves modifying existing schemas or ideas as a result of a new information and new experiences. New schemas may also be developed during this process. Next, please. Assimilation. The process of tucking in a new information into our already existing schemas is known as assimilation. Equilibrium. Piaget believed that all children try to strike a balance between assimilation and accommodation. To better they understand about some things that happen during cognitive development, the following are some of the factors that influence how children learn and grow. Next, please. Okay, the second psychological basis, which is social learning theory of Albert Bandura. But first, let us know who is Albert Bandura. Albert Bandura is an influential social cognitive psychologist who is perhaps best known of his social learning theory, the concept of self-efficacy, and his famous bubble experience. Next, please. Next, please. So this is Albert Bandura's social learning theory. Okay, who wants to read po? Melody.
Social learning theory emphasizes the importance of observing, modeling, and limiting the behaviors, attitudes, and emotional reactions of others.
Next bullet po. Ate Janine Bobbies. Please read.
This theory considers how both environmental and cognitive factors interact to influence human learning and behavior.
Next bullet, Cyrus.
In social learning theory, Albert Bandura, 1977, agrees with the behaviorist learning theories of classical conditioning and operant conditioning.
Okay, thank you. So social learning theory tells that people can learn from each other by observation, imitation, and modeling. And give you a short trivia, Albert Bandura and John Piaget, the cognitive learning, they combined the both idea behind the behaviorism. Next slide, please. Migrational processes. Okay, please read the first bullet, Hazel.
SLT is often described as the bridge between traditional learning theory, behaviorism, and the cognitive approach. This is because it focuses on how mental cognitive factors are involved in learning.
Second bullet, please, Jayan.
Hum- Humans are active information processors and think about the relationship between their behavior and its consequences.
Okay, thank you. So migrational process occurs between stimuli responses. Behavioral is learned from the environmental process of observational learnings. Next slide, please. So these are the four migrational process produced by Albert Bandura. So first is the attention. Attention is whether we notice our behavior or the behavior. Retention, whether we remember our behavior of or their behavior. Next is motor reproduction, whether we are able to perform our behavior. Next is motivation, whether the perceived rewards outthrough the perceived cause. Next, please. So, observational learning. Who wants to read po? Rameline.
Children observe the people around them behaving in various ways.
Next bullet, Marby.
Individuals that are observed are called models. In society, children are surrounded by many influential models, such as parents within the family, characters on children's TV, friends within their peer group, and teachers at school.
Please. So this is the observational learning of Albert Bandura's Bobodal experience in 1961. One of his famous experiments is called the Bobodal, which tells or illustrates what children see is what children do. So yung for one of the example is the cocomelon. Nowadays, yung mga bata, nagkakaroon sila ng accent because one of the reason is watching the cocomelon. Then other example is Peppa Pig.
Yes, it's Peppa Pig. Very effective ang Peppa Pig in terms of adapting accent. Na-adapt agad kasi ang bata is a imitator. Great imitator ang mga bata. So kung ano yung naririnig nila, especially sa adults, ginagaya nila. So beware tayo doon. Kasi they are great imitator. Kaya nga may bata nga, 'di ba, dito sa Libon, pumunta lang ng Manila ng 1 week lang ha. Pag-uwi niya Tagalog na. So that is
So
what. Okay, go
if
on.
you watch the last episode of KMJS, meron silang isang episode na tampok na tungkol sa yung dalawang bata nag-uusap, and then may accent sila kahit Pilipino sila, and then tinanong kung may hap ba sila, wala daw. And yung kaya pala sila naging ganon yung accent nila because of watching the Peppa Pig and the other cartoons that have an accent like British accent. They adapt it. Next slide, please. So the third psychological basis, which is socio-cultural theory. But first, let us know who is Lev Vygotsky. Lev Vygotsky was a seminal Russian psychologist who is best known for his socio-cultural theory. He believed that social interaction plays a critical role in children's learning. Next slide. Who wants to read the first bullet? Charmaine.
Vygotsky scaffolding is a method of teaching that helps learners understand educational content by working with an educator or someone who has a better understanding of the materials.
Okay, thank you. Next bullet po, Ibeline. Please read.
The concept states learn more when working with people who have a broader scope of knowledge than the student learning the content.
And last bullet, Anna Marie.
Classroom setting. Teachers should give students an opportunity to create their own instructional goals based on their current zone of proximal development, which may help increase their motivational to succeed.
Okay, thank you. So this theory focuses on a student ability to learn information through help of more informed individual. And scaffolding can help a student to learn content they wouldn't have been able to process with their own. That's why my SPED teacher tayong tinatawag for them to be able to know the process not by their own. Kaya kailangan natin we need to focus on the on the special class by giving an information for them to be able to develop their abilities.
Okay, have you
Next slide.
wondered, can I butt in, Miss Chriselle? Have you wondered why I choose to be a sped teacher? Have you wondered for all the subjects, so for all the majors, why special education? Have you ever asked me why special education? Okay, so let me just share. Before, my major is science. Um, and then I realized, because I excel in science and math, but then I realized that there are subjects that I can learn by myself. Kaya ko matuto with myself lang. Through self-studying. Kung ang pag-aaralan ay math, science, English. But in special education, kailangan mo talaga siyang pag-aralan with the help of the experts. Okay, so nagets ako. So parang na-bored ako, not totally na-bored ako na, okay, kaya ko na, ba't ko ito pag-aaralan? Ba't ko pag-aaralan ng science? Kaya ko naman itong pag-aralan ng ako lang yung nag-aaral without any help by anyone. Sabi ko, natuto nga akong mag-computer na walang nagtuturo, natuto akong mag-drive na walang nagtuturo. So isip ko, kaya ko rin itong pag-aralan ng hindi ko kailangan ng tulong ng experts. Iba ang special education. So you have to seek help from the experts in order for you to learn in special education. So yun na challenge ako. So I shift to special education, and I'm telling you, it is not so easy. Imagine, sabi nga nila, walang maluyang sped teacher, walang mahinang sped teacher. Guys, just imagine, we are going to familiarize all the lesson, but then we are going to interpret it. Bukod, di ba ang regular teacher, kailangan niya lang i-master yung ituturo niya. I-master yung lesson niya. Kami, aside from mastering the lesson, we have to interpret it through sign language, through braille, sign language sa mga deaf, braille sa mga blind. So see, multiple yung ginagawa namin aside from the regular class. No wonder we are well compensated. No wonder our salary is 3 times higher than the regular. Okay? So if you are not sabi nga ni, kung maluya ang button mo, then huwag ka nang mag-sped teacher. Okay? Kung mahina ang loob mo, kung mahina ang fighting spirit mo, wag mong pasuhin ng special education. Because if you are not, nasa kalagitnaan or hindi ka pa nangangalahati, susuko ka na. You will easily give up. Okay? So I hope na-get
Okay.
you.
Next slide po. So this Vygotsky scaffolding. So as you can see, what I can do help with the yellow outline. So that's we call the ZPD or Zone of Proximal Development. Now this yellow color or yellow in the outline, you will think that in special education, you will always think that what can I provide something or where can I provide something for this for the learners, for them to be able to develop and understand.
Chriselle,
The develop.
can you define first what is scaffolding? What do you mean by scaffolding? Can you explain it to us first? Or ask your classmates if they have an idea about scaffolding. Why is it Lebs because they use that term scaffolding in his theory?
Anyone po?
Di ba in a construction in a construction site, you will see the scaffolding. So from the literal meaning ng scaffolding sa construction, ano yung ibig sabihin niyan sa education? Yung scaffolding. Let us just yes.
Scaffolding scaffolding is a process in which teachers model or demonstrate how to solve a problem and then step back offering support as needed.
English, please. Iba yung
English po.
make it in a simplest way. It's an idiomatic. It is an idiomatic. When I say English, please, it means explain it in a simple way.
So, ma'am, example na lang po.
Okay. Okay, sige, go ahead.
An example of scaffolding is when the teacher begins by showing students how new information can be used. Then the teacher guides the students as they use the new information. Then the teacher has students use the new information independently.
Okay, sa madaling salita, ang scaffolding ay
structure or support.
Support. Okay, that is exact meaning. Ginamit siya ni Lebs Vygotsky as a term scaffolding because it says that scaffolding, the teacher uses gives support. Okay? Kasi 'di ba, teacher uses a lesson plan or uses materials. So yun ang ibig sabihin ng scaffolding. Okay, go on. Patapusin muna natin si Chriselle. Kasi i-discuss ni Chriselle yung yung role ng teacher dito. Go on. Chriselle?
Next step is the zone achieve development. So, or SAD, where the learners is right now. Next slide. So, our last psychological basis, which is situated learning theory. But first, let us know who is John Labe. Who wants to read po? Evelyn.
Jan Lave is Professor Emerita in the Department of Geography. She is a social anthropologist with a strong interest in social theory. Much of her ethnographically based research concentrates on the reconvincing of learners, and everyday life in terms of social practice.
Next slide po. So this John Labe's situated learning theory. Please read the first bullet, Tracer Anyon. Maria Kyla.
The concept of situated learning theory is that learning occurs within authentic context, culture, and activity that is widely unintentional.
Next bullet, Judy Ann. Judy. Judy, please read the second bullet.
It promotes it promotes the idea that students learn better in collaborative group settings and when the activities are based on real life experiences. Sorry po, mahina kasi net.
Thank you. So, these slides employs the social aspect of human nature to help learners feel relaxed and ease while learning. So, yung mga students sa SPED, it's better to be collaborative as a group. Mas na-appreciate nila in real life activities or experiences if they are group. Kasi mas nagiging functional sila pag may mga nakakasalamuha sila. Hindi lang na nafe-feel na alone sila.
I doubt that.
Even there are...
I doubt that. Possibly it's that kind of setup is intended for general education, but in special education, it is impossible for them to be collaborative or collaborate with other peers because once they are being together or they are being joined to other groups, it causes commotion or nagkakagulo. Okay, it causes distractions. So it's so what you said, I honestly I doubt based from my experience. Possibly yung tinutukoy mo is intended for general education. Continue.
But other teachers, ma'am, they mas gusto nila na collaborative group kasi may iba-iba naman po tayong strategies na about pagturo ng SPED learners. Kasi yung iba mas natututo pag group sila and yung iba mas gusto na alone lang.
Siguro depende sa case ng bata, depende sa disabilities ng bata. Kasi once ADHD, pinagsama-sama mo yan, rumble yan. Kapag ang autism pinag-join mo sa rumble yan. And then, kapag naman yung mga ID, hinaluan mo din sila ng mga ID, wala rin yan matatapos kasi they are very slow. So, it's case-to-case basis siguro. Go on.
Next slide, please, Rachel. So, guideline for use. First is the authentic context. Learning involves a setting that creates an authentic real-life context. Second is legitimate peripheral practice or scaffolding. Yun yung sinabi ni Ma'am kanina na about sa lesson plan. Students start at the periphery of the learning as a novice in the subject matter and instructor become more of a facilitator and provide scaffolding of the learning. Next slide. The last one is community of practice or collaboration. Students move from the periphery within the community of practice circle as they learn and collaborate with one another. That's all po.
Okay, thank you, Miss Chriselle. Well, actually,
so that's our, please balik mo. Please back po sa references. So these are the references po ng report. You can check it po on the internet for you to be able to be guided. And I have some activities po for activities 1 to 5. Next, please.
Okay, class, please participate. For those na makakasagot, like I said earlier, yung makakasagot now, hindi natatawagin later.
So the activity name, arrange me. So first, who wants to answer?
Ako po.
Ako na.
Opo. Ako.
Charmaine po yung unang nagtakas.
Love Vygotsky.
Yes, tama po. Lev Vygotsky is the seminal Russian psychologist who is best known for his sociocultural theory. Next slide, please. Cyrus.
It's Jean Piaget.
Yes, very good. John Piaget is a Swiss psychologist and genetic epistemologist. Next slide, please. Next slide. Janine Bobbies.
Number 3. This is a social cognitive psychologist best known for social learning theory. It is Albert Bandura.
Yes, very good. Albert Bandura. He is social cognitive psychologist best known for his social theory. Next slide, please. Next is, next please. Cyrus Celine Siciliano.
Jean Lave.
Yes, correct. Jean Lave is a social anthropologist with a strong internet and social theory. And for the last, J. Ann, number 5. Next slide, please. Wala na pala.
Inaasa mo ko, babe.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Chriselle.
Thank you,
for
ma'am.
your
That's all po.
very comprehensive report, as well as Ms. Claire. Yung first reporter yun, di ba? Si Ms. Claire. Am I right?
Claire is the reporter po.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So actually, when we say philosophies of education, mahaba siyang topic. So we will not just end tonight about philosophies of education, because we will add some information. By the way, those those theories of education mentioned by the reporters are just an example of many theories in education. We just focus only on 4 theories kasi it's psychological basis. So siya ang pinaka-closer sa special education. Okay? So we will I will provide you some other theories in education kasi kakailanganin niyo ito once na exam kayo ng LEP. Once you are going to take licensure examination for teachers, kailangan nyo yun. Kasi usually lumalabas lahat ng klase ng theories of education. So these theories explain how children learn, kung paano matuto yung mga bata. It explains, and then also it explains or gives the teacher an idea kung paano matuto ang, o ways or strategy kung paano matuto ang bata. But to tell you, these are only theories. Okay? Theories lang ito ng mga sikat na mga bihasa or experts in their fields. Okay? But you, as a teacher, you should have your own philosophy. Because at the end of the day, you will be the one who will manage the classroom. You will be the one who will teach the child or the students. So you have to make your own philosophy. Okay? So these are the theories that the reporter discussed are just the guide. Guide lang siya. Okay? On how are we going to handle or approach the students kung paano sila matuto. Like I said earlier, it is just a guide. It's always up to you. At the end of the day, it's always up to you. How are you going to teach or handle the students? Okay? So later, I will ask you one by one, yung hindi pa nakakasagot, about your own philosophy. Or better yet, even though nakasagot na yung ito, nakasagot na yung iba, ito yung magiging assignment niyo. You have to make your own philosophy. What will be, since you are pre-service teacher, what will be your philosophy in education? Okay, you should have at least one. Okay? Naintindihan po ako.
Pwede pong paulit.
Okay, ganito. Yung nabanggit ni ng reporter na si Miss Chriselle na mga theories are just theories.
Teresa po, ma'am.
Okay. Teresa ba yun? Bakit si Chriselle yung nasa monitor, nasa screen? Nasa
Siya lang sa first po.
okay. So later mo sa akin yung name, ha. Okay? So yung report ni Teresa are just the guide. Those theories are only guide for you as a teacher kung paano mo i-handle ang mga bata. But at the end of the day, ikaw pa rin ang masusunod. Okay? Your own philosophy still prevail. Yun pa rin ang masusunod, your own philosophy. These are only guide. So this will be my assignment for tonight. I want you to make your own philosophy. Okay? Nabanggit na ni Mr. Teresa yung mga iba't iba examples of philosophies ng education. So I want you to make at least one philosophy. Okay? Ano ba yung philosophy mo sa education? Okay? Naintindihan po ako? Your pananaw. Okay? Yung your insights, your pananaw on how the students learn. Okay? Sabi nga ni sino ba yun? Si Vygotsky about the scaffolding. Sila Vygotsky ba yun? Sila Vygotsky about the scaffolding. Ang theory ni Vygotsky, big example niya is about the scaffolding. Okay? Na kailangan daw may support yung bata para matuto. Okay? Na kapag nagpe-present ng isang idea sa isang bata or instruction, kailangan may support. Okay? Meron naman yung kay other philosophy or other psychologists propose about sa schema. Dapat daw may stored knowledge ang bata. Okay? It has something to do with the schema or the stored knowledge ng isang bata kung paano siya matututo. Okay? The foundation. And then, isa din doon yung theory ng isang psychologist, epistemologist, na about it has something to do with the foundation ng bata. Ikaw, ano ang philosophy mo sa education? Okay? You're going to think at least one. What is your philosophy in education? Make your own philosophy in education. Did you get me? Naintindihan po ba ako?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes
Okay.
po.
So can we now proceed to the last reporter?
Yes po.
Okay, go on.
Ana Marie, please pa-share po. My name is Mel